Hello viewers, welcome to Science TV 1 PM News with me, Edna Kaindi, and my sign language interpreter Irene Chebiwot. Welcome. In a major relief for thousands of low-income citizens, the cabinet, chaired by President William Ruto on Tuesday, endorsed the waiver of all accrued interest and penalties on outstanding land settlement loans. The decision is aimed at easing the significant financial burden on settlers who have struggled to repay their debts, allowing them to regularize their land ownership and unlock the economic value of their parcels. According to a communication from the Cabinet meeting, the Land Settlement Fund Board of Trustees had highlighted that many settlers were unable to service the accumulated interest due to economic hardship and pervasive challenges affecting agricultural productivity. On, a section of senators is pressing for the mandatory installation of functional CCTV cameras in all police stations, cells, and reporting desks nationwide, citing a surge in reported human rights violations and custodial abuse. They say the demand comes as part of a motion seeking to strengthen accountability within the National Police Service and restore public trust, particularly following increasing reports of unexplained injuries and deaths of individuals in custody.
Actually, ideally supposed to be the safest spaces for the Kenyan citizenry.
We want a country where human rights, human dignity is respected. The reports that have been referenced here, including reports from IMLU, they tell us that almost 20 young people have died in police custody, all in prison cells or remand facilities.
It is not an issue that we can laugh about, especially if we are leaders in this country. It is not an issue that we can celebrate. It is not an issue that we can try and play politics.
People who end up enduring some dehumanizing acts in the hands of police or police custody, Mr. Speaker, to the extent that even if they have not been taken to court, Mr. Speaker, they have been dehumanized. And Mr. Speaker, this is not just in the extent of sometimes killing or brutal killing in the hands of the police, but also sometimes it's also in terms of just being mishandled by inmates.
I fully agree that the motion contributes to transparency and accountability and the possibility of other things. But we must realize that we cannot fix a cultural problem using technology.
Moving on, the united opposition has strongly refuted President William Ruto's recent assertion that their leaders are motivated by political greed, instead claiming the president's remarks stem from worry over the growing political influence of the opposition. In a sharp counter-attack, opposition principals stated that President Ruto is reportedly unsettled by the warm reception accorded to Waiver leader Kalonzo Musyoka during his recent visit to the Nyanza region. The opposition leaders maintained that their unity is built on a shared commitment to national welfare and holding the government accountable, not personal ambition as alleged by the head of state.
Nimeona huyu Kasongo jana akilia akisema ya kwamba ati kuna wanaume watano wanakutana ati kugawa serikali. Huyu Kasongo hana habari, amechanganyikiwa. Unajua tangu alienda pale Kisumu, pale Bondo kulia machozi ya uongo, akisema atanalia mambo ya Raila. Kalonzo akaenda pale, Mama Aida na wote familia wakasema wanatabua Kalonzo. Huyu Kasongo amechanganyikiwa. Hao wanaume watano wanakutana na mama moja. Hakuna serikali wanagawa, wanapanga vile utaenda nyumbani. Hiyo ndio kazi iko mbele. Na hakuna mtu nagawa serikali. Tumeambiwa na watu ya Kenya, kazi yetu ya kwanza ni kupeleka Kasongo nyumbani. Mambo ya serikali tutaongea baadaye.
Rigiji akatuuliza, nasikia nyinyi wawili mnatafuta na Kasongo. Na akatuambia mkiitwa msisahau kuniita. Rigiji, nataka nikwambie ya kwamba tukiitwa mimi na Kalonzo tutaambia Kasongo huyo kuzo wetu Rigiji ndio spokesman wetu. Kama unatafuta Wamalwa, kama unatafuta Kalonzo, wewe enda kule wa Munyoro, tafuta Rigiji uzungumza naye.
Kuna mambo ya historical injustice in this country. Na kuna pia mambo ya reparations. Kwa hivyo hatuwezi kuendelea na nchi ambayo historia yake ni ngumu, na lazima hiyo ngumu historia lazima ichambuliwe, lazima tuiangalie na tufanye marekebisho.
Former Samburu Governor Moses Kasaine Lenol Kulal is now a free man after the High Court overturned his conviction in a high-profile corruption case involving 83 million shillings. Justice Benjamin Musyoki, presiding over the appeal, quashed the trial court's decision that had previously sentenced the former governor and his co-accused to 8 years in jail. In the judgment, Justice Musyoki ruled that the prosecution had failed to sufficiently prove the charges of corruption and conflict of interest against Mr. Lenol Kulal. The court noted that the evidence presented did not meet the required threshold to establish guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. To our other news, with the Malava parliamentary by-election just 3 weeks away, the Democratic Action Party, Kenya, DAPK, has been thrown into disarray after a section of its members, led by Deputy Party Leader and Kakamega Deputy Governor Ayub Savula, publicly defected to support the rival candidate from the ruling party. Mr. Savula and his faction have thrown their weight behind UDA's David Ndakwa, effectively abandoning their own DAPK candidate, the Secretary General of the Kenya National Union of Nurses, Seth Panyako. The dramatic move comes as campaigns enter the final stretch ahead of the by-election scheduled for November 27th. Speaking on the endorsement, Mr. Savula cited the need for regional development, arguing that aligning with the government will ensure Malava benefits from state resources.
Mimi ni deputy party leader wa DAP, lakini naona mbele sioni hapa. Mpaka tuhakikishe Ndakwa ameingia ndani. Hamujawahi kuwa upinzani tangu hii dunia ianze.
Tuangalie mbele. Sisi tunataka tutembee wote pamoja, tuache mambo ya ukabila.
Tu anakuja hapa, nyinyi hamna chochote ama hamna nani, mnaambiwa ya kwamba ako kambunge tu Kenya mnatakana mkue nako kwa miaka 2 imebaki na kuna serikali, wanasema mpeleke mtu ambaye sio wa serikali.
By next week hizi stima zitaanza kuwaka hapa area hii ya Mang'orero. Jirani mwema ni yule anakuja kusaidia ama analeta matusi?
On to our final news. The Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development has unveiled a comprehensive 10-year national strategy designed to tackle the severe and persistent national shortage of livestock feed and fodder. This significant intervention addresses a crisis that currently threatens the country's critical multi-billion shilling livestock sector. The new strategy comes as a direct response to worrying figures revealed by recent national feed inventory assessments, which point to a staggering 60% national feed deficit and substantial 46% post-harvest losses experienced within the sector.
Mimi ni deputy party leader wa DAP, lakini naona mbele sioni hapa. Mpaka tuhakikishe ndazo ameingia ndani.
Currently, we are producing at a level of a quarter what the potential is for the regions. This is by the factors that have been referenced to. Issues of degradation, you will find that we are talking about around 40% degradation. And even in the areas that we are saying that we are not degraded, we do not have the right material that will support livestock production, because you might do the observatory and see a green area, but you are talking about a green area invaded by non-paratable or non-productive species that feed livestock.
Pastoralists face several issues like the current drought, insecurity, conflict, many challenges. And this affects the rangeland management and the feed security. And as you know, feed is the main pillar of any livestock production system.
We need to have a strategic feed reserve. The same way like in cereals, where you have like maize reserve. So to get there, it takes a long process to understand our production system. Where do we have deficit? Where do we have surplus? And how do we take care of that surplus so that